Welcome back, Endgame community. I'm Pierre. He's Chris. This time we're here to talk about wide receivers heading into 2022, our top 12. We already did this for running backs. Check out those videos if you haven't already. And now we're going to break down one by one why we have them ranked, how we have them ranked for our first 6 receivers. Let's start off with number 1. I think it might be the guy who set NFL records in terms of receiving last year. Just a hunch. Could it be Cooper Kupp?
Yes. Unlike the running back video where I shocked the world with my number 1 pick, gotta have Cooper Kupp number 1. I mean, he's in a great offense, got a great quarterback, was off the charts good last year. He could regress in receptions, yards, and touchdowns and still be the number 1 wide receiver. So, yeah, I think he's got to be the clear top pick at the position.
Nobody expected Kupp to do what he did last year, right? He's always been a good receiver, but number 1 overall and that level, I mean, nobody saw that coming. So can we just assume he's going to do it again and be the top receiver?
I mean, Antonio Brown was the top receiver for what, like 5 straight years or something not too long ago. Last year, Adams finished as a wide receiver 3 and he missed 1 or 2 games. So, I mean, I don't think it's out of the question that he finishes number 1 overall. Kind of to me like Jonathan Taylor. He's as safe as it gets at the wide receiver position. So will he finish number 1 again? Maybe not. But what's he going to finish? Number 2? Number 3? I mean, he's going to be great. So you can't rank anybody ahead of him.
True. I can't and I won't. All right. So number 2, if there's a guy who probably makes the biggest claim to be number 1 this year, it's a guy who's just entering his 3rd year and already has been one of the best receivers in the league. That's Justin Jefferson. I got him number 2. You have him number 2 as well?
I do. I mean, sky's the limit for Justin Jefferson in 2022. And there's definitely a case to be made for him as finishing as the overall wide receiver 1. Talked about it briefly on the running back video. They've got Kevin O'Connell there, who was the offensive coordinator for the Rams, who turned Cooper Kupp into a record-breaking wide receiver. Look, this has been a run-heavy Vikings team each of the last 2 years, and Justin Jefferson has still been absolutely amazing, right? 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns last year. He could do even better this year. I think they're going to be more of a passing offense. They're not going to be as run-heavy. Adam Thielen, he's going to be 32, 33 years old this year. I don't know if he can sustain what he's been doing. KJ Osborne, he's fine. We could literally see Justin Jefferson put up numbers similar to, or maybe even better than Cooper Kupp last year. He has an insane ceiling this year. So for me, he's definitely number 2.
Yeah, that's the thing. This team did not sign or draft any receiver of consequence. It's going to be the Justin Jefferson show again. We got Jefferson number 2. Now, I know some people say, what about Ja'Marr Chase? All right. I got him number 3. Chris, you got him number 3. Some people will say he just had his rookie season. The Joe Burrow-Chase connection is just going to get better. Why can't he do what Jefferson did last year, take a second-year leap, and jump to number 2 or even number 1?
I mean, he can, but I feel better about Kupp and Jefferson than Chase. And look, he's got T. Higgins there. He's got Tyler Boyd there. He's got more competition. But also, people seem to forget that after an incredible start to the season, there was a 6 or 7 week stretch there where everybody wished they didn't have Ja'Marr Chase. I think his highest fantasy game was 13 fantasy points in PPR for like a 6 or 7 week stretch, and then he went nuts in the fantasy playoffs, and everybody remembers that. So, unlike Justin Jefferson and Cooper Kupp, who offer incredible ceilings with incredible floors, I feel like Chase's floor is just a little bit lower. Yes, he has an incredible ceiling, but because he's got more competition for targets and he's not going to have, 170, 180, 200 target type season, his floor is just a little bit lower than those guys. I got him at number 3. Still feel great about him. Still feel like he's going to be awesome. And he certainly could finish number 1 or number 2. Just feel better about the other 2 guys.
Yeah, so first I want to kind of have a moment of silence, pause for those who traded away Ja'Marr Chase midseason last year after he had that little slump and watched a league mate have him for the playoffs. Look, it happens to all of us. Like, who knew? Who knew that he would just absolutely dominate and win fantasy leagues? So single-handedly, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase on the same team, forget it. Like, that was it. That's all. You didn't even need anybody else on the roster. And I know because I lost to a team that had Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow in the championship. But look, he's going to have his ups and downs. He's not going to go for 200 yards every game, right? He's still going to be a beast. Look, Justin Jefferson went for more yards than Chase. I don't think necessarily Chase is going to be able to boom the way Jefferson did because Adam Thielen was hurt a little bit. Jefferson has no competition really for targets. Jamar Chase does have T. Higgins there and Tyler Boyd there, and they have a good running game, Joe Mixon. So, look, I don't think we can expect that Chase is going to all of a sudden have a 2,000-yard season. I think number 3 is just fine. You want to swap those guys? Go ahead. No problem with that. Those are the top 3 receivers pretty much every draft you'll see. Those guys are also pretty much first rounders for every draft. So we got them in that order, Kupp, Jefferson, Chase. And now it gets interesting. Let's talk about number 4. All the drama, all the unknowns, still unknown. Where's Debo going to play this year? I don't care. I got him number 4. It doesn't matter because he's shown he is not the result of a quarterback or an offense. He is what makes that offense and that quarterback productive in San Francisco. All signs point to him staying there. He didn't get traded before the draft, obviously. San Francisco has said they have no intent to trade him, and they really don't have to. So I don't think he's going to be a guy who just holds out or does something crazy. Debo, to me, his yard after catch ability, leading the league with 18 yards per reception, I got to have him number 4. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about Debo. I'll talk about him here when we get to him. I've got Diggs at 4. And look, people were let down by Diggs last year, but he was still really good. What was he, wide receiver 5 or something? He was still very good, and he was really got better down the stretch when you needed him. That's when he started to have his good games again. He's tied to Josh Allen. He's tied to a great offense. He's a great wide receiver. He can get open. He can run every route. So I still really like Stefon Diggs. He's one of the guys I feel safest about as far as, we get to this range. A lot of uncertainty at wide receiver this year with the trades and guys switching teams. So feel pretty good about him. I have him at number 4.
It's easy to forget that he did lead the league in receptions and yards just a year before, so no argument with Diggs there. And they really didn't add anybody who's going to threaten him either. It's going to be a balanced offense, but Diggs is still the go-to guy. But number 5, I'm not going Diggs yet. I have Davante Adams, obviously not going to be the number 1 or even 2 guy. He doesn't have Aaron Rodgers. I don't care about the Fresno State connection. He's not the number 1 receiver anymore, but he's still top 5. You agree with that? At least he's got to be a top 5 receiver?
I do. I mean, certainly we're going to see his target share come down because instead of competing with Randall Cobb, MVS, and Allen Lazard, he's going to be competing with Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow, who, whatever you think of them, they're better than those guys. And this isn't going to be a team who's going to throw the ball a ton. It's not Aaron Rodgers. He's going to see, his target share drop and his efficiency drop, but he's still an incredible wide receiver. He's going to be the number 1 target on this team. He's still going to see enough volume, I think, to be a top 5 wide receiver. So I agree. Got him at 5.
All right, Davante Adams, number 5 for both of us. And now number 6, who do you have?
Well, now I do have Debo. And Debo's a tough guy for me to rank because there is some uncertainty in San Francisco. Not with Debo. I think Debo will stay. But with the quarterback situation, with Trey Lance, look, with Jimmy G, he was great, right? We know one thing about Jimmy G is, they're not going to throw a lot with Jimmy G, but he's going to target Deebo Samuel, and they use Deebo Samuel a lot out of the backfield. He might not like that role. It sounds like he doesn't want to be used out of the backfield anymore. And with Trey Lance potentially being the starter, there's a lot of uncertainty here. Is Trey Lance going to be any good? This guy only attempted like 300 passes in his entire college career. We don't know what kind of a thrower Trey Lance is going to be. So if it was Jimmy G and everything was the same as last year, I would have Debo number 4 right after Jamar Chase. But because of that uncertainty, and I agree with you, I think he's going to be in San Francisco this year, but still uncertainty with that offense, I got to have him down at number 6.
I will say the Trey Lance argument is compelling because, we have no idea how it's going to go. Is he going to target him as much? Is he going to take off and run enough that it eats into Debo's touches? That is definitely a possibility. And to me, it's just you have a guy who can one play, take it to the house, and he doesn't need that volume. To me, that's always going to be more appealing in fantasy. I'll take some of the downs if the ups are really that high. With Debo, they are. At number 6, well, you got the consistency there of Stephon Diggs, a guy who doesn't necessarily have blow-up games as often as some of these other receivers, but he's always going to be targeted a ton. He's going to pull in the receptions. He's got one of the highest floors out of all of these guys, arguably a higher floor than Devontae Adams, who I have number 5, but I don't think quite as much upside. The thing is, in the red zone, Josh Allen calls his own number. They do like to run the ball as well. They spread it out. There were Dawson Knox and others. So, Diggs set his personal high with 10 touchdowns last year. But typically, he's not going to be a guy who's going to put up 12 to 15 touchdowns. Like we've seen Devontae Adams go crazy. Obviously a different situation. But I just think that his upside isn't quite as high as those top 5 guys I already mentioned. So that's why Diggs is kind of my nice and safe number 6 receiver. All right, now we do have more receivers to talk about. We will do that in another episode. We're going to break down wide receivers 7 through 12. I already mentioned we did this for running backs. We're going to be talking about our rankings all off season to give you the most up-to-date information, help you make informed decisions all season long. All right, thanks for watching.